Welcome to our podcast.
Our podcast. It's a podcast and it's called Difficult Dish. And Difficult Dish is hosted by my co-host right here.
Mahua Khan.
And with her co-host, who is me.
Your phone is so close to my face.
Mashu Manir. And
as you see, we have different South Asian narratives.
It's a podcast.
You always forget the intro.
Narratives. And as you can see, we have a third co-host for today's episode. You see what's going on. We got another human in the building. We got ARINI. Rahman, clap it up.
Hello, clap it up
hi.
for Miss ARINI.
Clap it up.
With the beautiful purple hair.
Thank you.
I got a little intro for you.
Came all the way from San Fran, by the way.
I got a little intro. We got ARINI Rahman. ARINI Rahman is a Bangladeshi content creator and DJ hailing from San Francisco, California. ARINI has been active online for years about her journey through life alongside music and her love for South Asian, specifically Bangladeshi representation in the music scene. After a rough 2022, she has spent 2023 going to 125 concerts.
Casually.
Goodness gracious.
Yep.
I've gone to 12 concerts in my life and documented the whole series. She began DJing not too long ago and has already become a leading face in the women's Bangladeshi EDM game. We're so excited to have her on today. ARINI, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. That was an awesome intro.
Yeah,
that was incredible.
After the little hiccup that he had.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Ignore that. But what's up? Like, how are you? You want to do anything I missed? Like, who are you? Who's ARINI?
Oh my God, who am I? That's so funny. Even being introduced as a content creator is really funny to me, and as a DJ, I think is a funny thing to me.
This is her first podcast appearance. Yes.
Yeah, I feel like DJing is still pretty new, but content creating I've been doing for a long time. But even that, I'm like, don't call me a TikToker. Don't call me.
I didn't want to put that.
I know. No, I love that. I appreciate that. But it's so funny. It's I feel like I do so much that it's hard to encompass it into one word. So I'm ARINI. That's it.
But talk about now is your space.
What's your little elevator pitch?
Who's your elevator pitch?
Oh my God, my elevator pitch is too long. My elevator is way too long.
That's fine, girl. That's fine. But I feel like a lot of us also started off with content creation or whatever endeavor, but we didn't think it would get to this point. You know? I'm sure you started music or your videos and you were just oh, now here I am.
Yeah.
What do I do next?
It's so funny because I think people think I grew my following through DJing, on TikTok especially, but people don't know that no, I grew my TikTok following just doing skits and comedic stuff at first. I started during the pandemic and I was just making content for fun to escape from work, and I just didn't like my job at the time, and I was just trying to find some creative outlet.
That's how it goes.
So I was that's how it goes. And so I was creating content, and then grew my following super quickly, and then I was I guess I'll just keep creating content, and that's all I was doing for so long. And then the music thing came totally later. And then I started going to a bunch of concerts, and then from there just going to a bunch of started going to shows, and I was I could probably DJ. And then picked up DJing.
We got to take it back though.
Yeah.
There's the whole thing before the DJing. So you are from San Francisco, California.
Yeah.
Big San Fran guy. Not gonna lie. I love because
we
were talking about Big Hero 6.
Have you been?
Have
you been?
I watched Big Hero 6. It's close enough.
So you've been.
Big Hero 6 guy. Okay, I love that movie. It's basically San Francisco.
You kind of remind me of
Baymax.
Yeah.
How?
No,
go ahead. You brought it up. How?
No,
How? Go ahead. I know they don't. What's it like growing up in San Francisco as a Bangladeshi? What's the brown community there, or not the brown community, just in general? What's it like? What's it like being from the West Coast? What's it like?
It's awesome. It's been awesome. So I'm from San Jose originally, which is an hour south of San Francisco. So from the Bay. There's so many Bangladeshis there. There's so much. It's a big, diverse kind of bubble in the Bay. So I grew up with a lot of Bangladeshis, big family friend circle. Grew up very close to them. So I feel I've always had
awesome.
A really close connection with Bangladeshis and Bengalis, and so that's been really nice. And growing up, also going to a super diverse school. But then going to college, which was still in California, but went to a very, very white school. So that was very different.
Where you went at?
I went to Cal Poly SLO. It's
Cal Poly.
It's in between LA and San Francisco.
Okay.
But very totally different experience there. There's no I know there's PSAs and BSAs, Bangladeshi Student Association, Pakistani Student Associations. There was one Indian Student Association, and I was the president of that, which was so funny.
Wow.
So I'm why? I'm such a traitor. I don't know. And I tried to rebrand us.
That's all you had.
Exactly. It's all I had. So I tried to find community there. So finding community there was really tough for sure. And then coming back once I graduated college, moved up to San Francisco, big brown circle there also. So it's been pretty great.
I feel like that's so different from what I've heard about LA culture.
LA's maybe different.
Yeah, because I know there are brown people in LA, but from what I've heard, it's not as like community oriented.
Okay.
It's more, I guess, like cliquey or just not as like cohesive, I guess.
Okay. Yeah,
whereas from what you're saying, it seems like you've had like community around you and like it seemed like it was more uplifting, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. Definitely. Like my parents' friend, like they have so many friends who settled in the Bay and Silicon Valley or whatever. And so there's just like a huge community there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Like every Saturday I would like see bunch of family friends all the time, which I feel like is similar to New York.
New York, yeah. In New York, we would do that all the time.
Yeah.
But I feel like from the things that I've heard from other areas, not even just LA, but like even in the South, like in Florida, I don't feel like you've done that, right? Maybe just your family. What? I feel like you didn't do that.
No, I didn't. But
other people
in Orlando, Florida, the big guys were very like
separated,
separated around the city and stuff.
Yeah.
Orlando didn't have too many, but like places like Atlanta have a lot. You know, like the DMV has a shit ton of Bengali people. There's different cities like here and there and stuff.
Yeah.
But
so your parents immigrated to SF in like the 80s?
Yeah, in the 80s. Technically, they went where they were in Oregon for some time, and then they came to the Bay in San Jose like let's just say 1990, but I'm probably wrong if my parents are watching this.
Don't worry.
Yeah, somewhere in the 90s. My entire life story is wrong.
What was like young ARINI like? Like what type of person were you like? Maybe like when you're like 8 and 15 and like, you know, like what type of person were you?
I was a loud person. I was very extroverted. I'm a Gemini, so I was a very like classic loud, probably a little annoying, running around all the time. I used to be very into dance. I'm actually like originally, I guess, a dancer.
Oh, what kind of dance?
Slash
what
Bollywood.
genre?
Dance,
nice.
classic, yeah.
Nice.
Originally, actually, like a basketball player, dancer. Like basketball was my entire life,
really,
for a very long time. Then it became dance for a very long time.
Okay.
Then it became TikToking. Then it became DJing.
Whole different, that's like a different
like
route.
Yeah,
I did.
Varsity bench warmer right here.
Damn.
Yeah. Whoa.
I did. I'm very I was very happy to see that you have your entire Instagram feed still up.
Yes,
Most, because nobody I would never.
I think it's like a part of life. It's so fun to like look back on.
I wish I could, but no. I saw that you went to many Warriors games.
Big Warriors fan. Yeah, my family has season tickets. We're at every game for the last like 10 years probably.
Oh my God! Wow.
Big Warriors fans. Yeah.
So you're a big basketball.
Basketball today.
Basketball was my life. Yeah.
True.
And then dance, big dancer. Yeah. So like I was like dancing at every Bengali function. Like
I love that. Yeah, I did that too.
Yeah.
I feel like that's core Bengali.
Yeah. That's like that's a pipeline.
It was like either like dance or singing.
I was not a singer.
Anything in the arts.
Not a singer.
I wasn't a singer too, but you know.
But arts.
I was getting forced into the singing.
Yeah,
to do it.
Y'all don't have to.
But that's awesome to hear from like an SF type of route narrative, I guess, because like I've known the New York perspective about it, because I know like New York is very heavy on just like community and like arts in general.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that Bangladeshi culture was like such a big thing in SF.
Yeah, but what's interesting is like because we're in SF, I think everyone is like ends up being your classic like doctors, engineers, lawyers type thing. So there's not a lot of people are like into arts, but they don't pursue arts, which I feel like here there's maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like there's a bit more flexibility to do that. Like there's more like, I think you just have more people that are in that space. I could be wrong though, but in SF I barely know anyone that's like pursuing anything creative for the most part.
Did they like, were there people that were like interested in it, or it was like people that were just like too scared to like actually go for it, or like is it like just because they saw that no one was doing it, they didn't see it as like a viable kind of path? I think
it's a combo of a lot of that. I think it's like, you know, you're in the Silicon Valley, so you're taught to like have a CS job out of college or something, and then there's also nobody's doing that, like nobody's pursuing the creative space, nobody's like paved that path for you at all. Like I wish, I'm 29 now and I'm DJing, and I'm like, dang, I kind of wish like 10 years ago someone told me I could like actually pursue music. Maybe I could have and would have, but
was that ever like a dream for you? Like what was your original career path?
I went into liberal arts. I'm like the only, like from my generation, I think I'm the only one who studied liberal arts. I was a journalism major and I studied public relations. I thought I was going to be in PR for the longest time. And my parents have been weirdly like super supportive of that, luckily. I think they knew I wasn't good at math or science or any of that stuff. So they're like, yeah, go right. Yeah, take a pencil and go right. So yeah, and then I jumped ship into social media a little after. I was in the PR world. But yeah, I studied journalism. So I went down a completely different route, which I don't think most people do that in San Francisco.
Okay, so you were a baller. And then you were a dancer. When did you start getting into the music, you know, the live experience? You know, we talked about the live music experience with Jai Wolf in our episode recently. What are like some of your first memories, like, you know, going to like live shows, and like what do you find like infectious about that? Because, you know, like you know, we'll get into it, but this girl's been to goddamn how many concerts in her life? She's been
I mean, you had a TikTok series, right?
Yeah.
Your TikTok series was like 135 shows or something?
I was trying to go to 100 shows, and then I ended up at 125 in a year.
Oh no,
that's incredible.
Yeah, I got it tattooed on my arm.
That's awesome. That's
like
really cool. That's
I like
a
that.
really good tattoo.
But what was that? What attracted you?
So you know what's funny? So growing up, I wasn't allowed to go to concerts. Like I was one of those. Like did not. I think I went to one concert when I was in 4th grade with my whole family. It was a Hilary Duff concert. That was like the first
love
concert.
That. Yeah, love it.
So good. And then so I wasn't allowed to go to concerts, but I loved music. Like grew up with a lot of music in the house. My dad was always super into music, so I think that's like where I got like my love for music from. My mom's a big dancer. She loves dancing, so like that's also like where I love dance music from, I think. And then I think like I started listening to I was always like a hip hop head. I was like a rap head, hip hop head.
Yeah, who?
Like Frank Ocean, Tyler the Creator, Kendrick, that whole realm.
Cali shit.
And then I think like when I was end of high school, beginning of college, so let's say like 2013ish, started getting into like electronic music, specifically like the SoundCloud era of like remixes and stuff. Just used to love.
Who we talking about?
Oh gosh.
Really putting her on the spot.
Yeah. I'm gonna name okay. So
hey, I have my little phase. I know some names. That's all I'm
saying.
Yeah. Porter
yeah.
Robinson. I saw him early back then. I saw Heart. This is not about me.
No, I love that.
I think like my first like EDM concert was Cascade. I saw Cascade.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, back
Who
in the day.
was my first EDM concert? My first EDM concert was Kygo, probably.
Oh, wow, that's a good one.
I know that.
2014. I think that was my first EDM, like the first rave.
Yeah.
Let's say.
I've actually never been to a rave.
Man,
really? Can I take you?
I would love
Wait,
to go to one.
come to my show.
I know. I would love to go to your show.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it won't be a rave.
Yeah,
but
it's like still lit. Like we were trying to get into the Jai Wolf concert a couple weeks ago, and we he invited us personally, and we couldn't get in because they were just being assholes.
That happened.
Oh no!
But I would have loved for that to be like my first one.
Fun.
But it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
They're so fun. So I've always been into electronic music, and then never considered pursuing it at all. It was just something for fun. And used to love going to electronic music shows. I was always into live music. I would love traveling to shows. I would like go to LA for a show if there was someone that I was really into. I was always doing that. And then in 2022, I just went went through like a fun bout of depression, and I was just like super sad and need to like get out of the house, and like couldn't figure out how to like get myself back on my feet basically. And then in 2023 I went to a concert on New Year's Day, and then I was like, wait, I feel so happy at concerts, like when I'm listening to live music, like, and this is just a show, this isn't like a rave or anything crazy, but I was like, and I love challenges, so I was like, I'm gonna go to 100 of these by the end of the year. And so then I just started doing that, and like I was going to like 2 a week basically, and this was mostly like a solo endeavor for me. So like sometimes I would bring like a friend or two, but it was always kind of like, it was something that I needed to like go through myself to like put myself back together, and somehow like live music was like doing that for me. And I don't know, like,
what do you think about it was so like healing for you?
You know what's funny, I think rave culture, I also think sometimes like the word rave, I was so anti that for some reason. I think there's a lot of weird connotations behind that. Sometimes I think people have like negative like preconceived notions about like what a rave looks like. But my favorite thing about like raving and like going to those kind of shows is like just the type of people you meet, and like the community that you meet there is like, people are so nice, and people just kind of let you do your own thing, which I love. Like, people don't care about what you look like, people don't care like how you're dancing, like or what music you're into or anything. Like, you just get to be in your own little circle and do your own thing. So I think that like experience for me is like what did it is like I could go to these shows and I could like dance however I want to dance. I can like be whoever I want to be. I don't need anyone to like bother me. No one's gonna. I feel like sometimes when you go to shows, like people want to talk, people want to like chop it up, or like I don't know. But like at electronic shows, I think it's just different, and I don't really know entirely how to explain it. But I just love that type of energy that you find at shows, and so that was like something that I was like chasing.
Yeah, I feel like it's also so inspiring that that a lot of them you went to by yourself, and you were like obviously pushing yourself out of your comfort zone to go to this many shows, especially when you weren't like feeling the best about yourself. Yeah. But then also you were like trying out different music, trying out things by yourself at these like new things, and it's just like so many different things at the same time that I'm sure can be kind of like overwhelming to like an average person, but you like took it like a champ, you know.
And brown
just,
people
like,
not
pushed through it.
Yeah, brown people not doing this, you know.
Yeah.
Especially like brown women are not doing this.
No, totally. I think like I have one of my best friends. Her name's Neha, and she's South Asian Indian, and like she used to go to a lot of concerts by herself, and so that kind of inspired me to like start going to shows by myself also. And I've been doing that for a long time, but like during that 100 concert journey, I just went to like so many shows by myself, and that was just like fun because it's like I get to take care of myself, I get to do my own thing, and that's I think that also comes back to like being a brown girl sometimes too. Like you don't get to have those spaces sometimes and those experiences, so like taking myself to shows has been like was a very like empowering experience. Has always been an empowering experience, but especially on that journey it was just like something I really needed to
How do you get through like the like I'm alone, like I don't got no friends here, I don't got like
I think
I don't feel like talking to someone.
I'm the type of person that like I love like uncomfortable experiences, weirdly enough. Like you grow the most from those. So like seeking discomfort is like sometimes a really fun thing, and so even when I'm alone, I don't know, I guess I just like got through that. It's fun to like feel uncomfortable sometimes,
and then I feel like it's like a adrenaline rush that you're waiting to like get every single time after that.
Yeah, totally.
You know? 'Cause you're like, oh, this is scary, but like I've done it before, I can do it again.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Did you ever get like a show like number 35? You're like like this might be enough, or like
no, oh my god,
always like
what's funny is like if I looked back on my like last year, like I would do that again in my sleep. Like I needed, like it was such a like survival thing for me at the time. Like I needed something to like get out of the house, and like something that like actually fed my soul, and like that was going to shows. So I would do that in my sleep again. Like this year, no, cannot do that. Like I'm happy, I'm stable
you did
now.
it when you were like young.
Yeah. So like last year it was just I needed to do it, so I had to go to shows, and I never felt tired by it. Like I could go to 5 shows in a weekend. I'd be like, yes, let's do it again.
That's awesome.
What do you think it is that like drives someone to that point? Like not for like specifics of your life, but like were you just kind of like really bored with like, did you just feel like you needed like something fresh? Like what drives someone to like that, not extreme, but it's you know, it's like a crazy goal to like have yourself, and it's like different to be like, oh, like this year I want to go travel 3 or 4 times out the year, like something. Like what drives somebody to like that state of mind?
Okay, I would love to go into this too. It's like some tea. It's
just
like fun. Okay, I don't know. So I went through a really bad breakup in 2022.
Oh Lord.
And which I feel like maybe is obvious. I feel like people have like put stuff together based off of like my TikToks and stuff. But I went through a really bad breakup in 2022, and it definitely like spiraled me a bit. But one thing that was really interesting was like big part of our relationship was music and like going to concerts. But we both had very different music tastes, like very, very different. And my partner didn't understand like electronic music specifically. And so we would go to like electronic music shows, and my partner would be like in my ear, like, oh, this person sucks. Like this, and they'd be like trashing the artist that I'm like really wanted to see. So I feel like I had like this really negative experience for quite some time of going to shows and stuff. And music was like so important to me, and it was like such a huge part of my life. And it, just like created really negative experience for me. And so I wanted to like reclaim that space basically. And so that's another reason why like I did the 100 concert journey, just to be like, wait, I love doing this, and I love not having someone in my ear like that anymore. And I want to be able to like find music that I love and not be so like feel judged by the music that I was listening to and stuff. So that was like kind of another reason like why I went down this like 100 concert journey thing.
I feel like that's like so empowering, because I think a lot of girls, you know, get burned by like bad relationships where they feel like they have to think a certain way because, you know, the guy told them it's bad or whatever it is.
Totally.
But then if they do break up, it's kind of hard to like unlearn that mindset because you know, you're like ingrained with that for a while in the relationship.
Yeah.
But it's so nice that you like went on your own journey to like discover it on your own instead of like bringing it on to like the next relationship or like within yourself still, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, even for me, you know, sometimes, you know, in bad relationships before, like I would have a negative taste in my mouth, but whether it would be with like my business ideas or like with friends and things like that, like, you know, exes sometimes make you feel bad about the friends that you have or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I think it's very important to like do the work yourself to kind of understand why you love doing what you do in the first place, your friends or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And like just try to get over it and do something uncomfortable,
totally.
You know?
Yeah.
Because like no one should have the power over you to like make you feel bad for something that you like doing or
1000%.
have love, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that like a lot of people like learn like as they like disconnect themselves from like people that might have been in their life like earlier on in their life is like we have so many voices in our ears telling us that like we shouldn't be doing this and should be doing this instead, where it's like a lot of time we just have to give ourselves the time to figure out what we actually like. And it's like a lot of time we know what we actually like, we just have people telling us that we don't when it's like no, like they just don't, it's not that we don't like it, you know? It's like like especially like our parents, right? Whoever, not even just like your parents, like I think it's really important to spend some time alone. I think that's why like I know people that like will like relationship hop, like go from this person and that person, just always feel like they need to be around someone or always be with their friends. So it's like no, it's like it's important to have solo time to understand the person that you are, and like when you bring a more complete version of yourself to like a future partner or something, like you're more confident in who you are. You're not you know as lost of a human. You know what you are bringing now, instead of just kind of like bringing like a soulless body that like you don't really understand who you are yet, you know? So
I would love to talk about a really fun concept actually kind of along those lines that like helped me grow out of that mindset and like grow out of this like people pleasy mindset of like just being so persuaded into like doing this or that and like not knowing who I was and not knowing myself. There's this really cool concept that I learned a few years ago called full body yes, which was like, it's also called like whole body yes, but it's basically like asking yourself when you have to make a decision, like, does my entire body say yes to this? So like 100% of my body, not like 90%, not like 95, not like 75, like 100% of my body. Does this say yes to this? And I remember when I first heard about this, I was like, how do you know if your entire body actually says yes to this? And then I like thought about it and I was like, no, you know, there's like a little voice in the back of your head that kind of says like, no, I want to do this, or yes, this is right. Like, even if maybe logically it doesn't make sense, but like something is like pulling you towards whatever this decision is. So like a couple years, so I used to be such a like people pleasy person, such a like did not know who I was, didn't know if like the decisions I was making was for myself or was it for my family, was it for so-and-so, my partner, whatever it might be. So like in 2019, I lived the entire year making every decision based on full body yes. So like I did not make any decisions that did not give myself 100% body yes. So there were so many times where I didn't see people, I didn't hang out with people, I didn't like go to events because like, sorry, my full body does not say yes to this. There was a lot of times where like people would text me also and they'd be like, oh, you can't come because it's 100% of your body isn't saying yes to this. So they like got a lot of jokes about it, but it definitely isolated me a little bit, but at the same time it helped me actually tune in and figure out like what do I want and what do I not want in general, just like just it could be simple choices too, but like or it could be like a job, or it could be like what flavor ice cream do I want, what it could be so simple or so big. And then what was cool was like in 2020 then I kind of like was able to adjust, and then now I know, hey, my body doesn't say 100% to this, but I'm still gonna do it. Like I'm still gonna go to this thing.
It's like uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable, but like I know that like I'm at least like aware now of like what I want and what my body wants. So that was like a cool experience.
I think that's a good practice to have because it like forces you to say no to the things that you probably would have said yes to even though you didn't want to. And then like now that you are in a position where you can say yes to things that like maybe aren't 100% like secure or, you know, confident for you, but like, you know, it's gonna like make you a better person, or like it's gonna make you grow in some way. But I think it helps you choose your future like relationships or friends or whatever it is so much better because like you know yourself the most. You know?
What are some things that like you found yourself saying yes to or like saying no to that like you weren't expecting?
There's been a lot of like DJing gigs, I think, that I'll say no to, and I'm like, I don't think this is right for me, or like I don't think this this makes sense. And then also like taking gigs. Sometimes I'm like, I have so much on my plate, but like I need to do this. Like something is calling me to like say yes to this. So there's like, I think a lot of those things. It's like nice to know. So, and then again, sometimes I like know that my whole heart maybe isn't in it, but it's like a right decision to make for whatever reason. So at least I'm aware of it. How
did you get into the DJ world? Because you started kind of late in the game, or like it's when you didn't expect to start, you know?
Totally. So when I was doing my 100 concert journey last year, around March is when I was like, probably at a concert, and I was like looking at them DJ, and I was like,
I gotta do this.
I could probably do that.
Yeah.
Give me that.
So then, like we always do.
Press some buttons.
Press some buttons, turn some knobs. Oh my God, now it's like so much more than that.
Right.
But it's so funny. So then bought a controller, best $400 investment I've ever made, to be like literally, to be honest. Bought a controller, and then I was just like screwing around, and I did not have any intention actually DJing outside my bedroom. I thought this was going to be a cute little party trick that I can throw out with my friends every now and then, have a little party and like DJ for fun. I was trash. I was like an absolute trash DJ. And I would like post content here and there about it, but that was it. It was like nothing serious. Like even on my TikTok, I wasn't even creating that much content around like the 100 concert journey that I was doing. I wasn't creating that much content around TikToking. And then what I think put me over was like I put out, there's this video of, and you've probably seen it, of like me DJing for my parents in the living room. The viral one. Yeah, the viral one. And it's, it's like, what's so funny is I wasn't even going to post that. I had no intention of posting that video. It was like a funny thing that I did for my parents. But then this DJ group reached out to me, Chrome Bodies, to basically help them promote one of their songs. And so they're like, oh, can you make a TikTok for us? And so I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And then like a week went by, 2 weeks went by, and I was like being really lazy, and I like hadn't put out something, and I was like, oh, I gotta really do this. And then like time was just slipping, and then I was like, okay, I need to put out something. Let me just take this video that I already had of me DJing for my parents, throw their song on top of it, and post it. And so I posted it, and then it went viral. And then now everyone calls me the TikToker DJ or something. It's like just so funny. But and then that took off, and then I think I just started getting like more attention from people, and then I started asked to like play gigs, and that's when like there's a collective in San Francisco called Playhouse. One of the founders, her name's Tara, and like I owe her everything. She would basically start reaching out to me, and she's like, hey, like I love like everything you're doing on TikTok. I love that you're DJing. Do you want to DJ with me sometime? Making up excuses. She'd be like, hey, I have a gig coming up on Friday. Why don't you come DJ with me? And I was just like, I have a thing. I have this. I have that. I did that for about 6 months probably.
Wow.
So it wasn't until November. What am I doing? What's going on?
But it's such a good problem to have, because it's like, you're in your late 20s now, and it's like, did you think that you were just going to stick with your 9 to 5 and just like have things on the side that you were doing for fun? But like, who would have thought that now these are like potential careers?
Not me. Yeah, I wouldn't have ever. I had no idea. I really did not think this would ever happen, but I'm so incredibly grateful for it, and like it's been so fun. I'm also glad that I'm doing this in my late 20s. Like I feel like I know myself so much more. That I like, even again going back to like saying yes and saying no to things, like I know what makes sense, like what I'm like, basically like I feel like I'm doing this very intentionally, or as intentionally as I can, which I don't think I could have done in my early 20s if somehow I ended up DJing in my early 20s. But I feel like this has just been like a really crazy set of like dominoes that just fell into this, and then now I'm like DJing, which is really cool. Now I'm just trying to like rethink my entire life casually.
I wanna like touch on like Damir again, and like you mentioned just like like the Bangladeshi music scene. Like what's your thought process around this, like bringing in elements of like that into like what you make, and like and just like what do you think about all that type of stuff?
Because you are one of the first ones that I've seen, DJs that I've seen like promoting Bangladeshi music in rave culture or like EDM culture, and like woman too, so it's like so many different layers that like I've never seen before, but like I appreciate, like I didn't even know I needed it or wanted it, but now that I see it in you, I'm just like, wow, like the world is like so much beautiful.
Like, I love that.
Who would have ever thought?
Totally. We're in like such a cool moment right now. Like all of a sudden we're in this really cool brown wave where there's so many brown creatives doing really amazing things. I also did not see a brown female DJ until last year. Like I think that was like last year was, I forget, I can't remember off the top of my head who probably it was, but like I feel like like I've now have been introduced to so many brown DJs, which is like awesome. And then brown female DJs, there's even fewer, but it's like I'm so inspired by them and I love that they're doing this. But Tara, the Playhouse founder, she was the first brown DJ I found in San Francisco. And then now she runs this like South Asian collective basically, or mostly South Asian collective in San Francisco that I'm a part of. And so it's just a really cool bubble that we're in right now. And then when I went to that Damir show with the Bangladeshi rave, it was like the first Bangladeshi rave on the West Coast, I think is like, I don't know if that's accurate, but I hope it is. One of the first. And that was like, I think Jai Wolf is probably one of the few, if not the only like Bangladeshi DJ that I knew like, 10 years ago. And then now it's like, there are so many of us and it's been so cool to like be connected to them. And I always incorporate like Bangla songs and every single set. I always try to incorporate something. Like nobody else is thinking of doing that. And I basically end up playing stuff that I'm like, if I was in the audience, like what would I want to hear? And I would like lose my mind if I heard like Krishna and if I heard Habib like in the club. Like that's crazy.
Like songs that I heard growing up and just like Bengali culture, And we
never got that. Yeah. So it's really cool that like we have that now, or we're starting to get that now and we're starting to see it. What Damir did in Vancouver was like, that was the first time I was in a whole room full of pretty much 90% Bangladeshis listening to Bangla house
Who would have thought?
from like 3 DJs including myself. Like I mean I cried. I was just like, this is the most beautiful experience I've probably ever had. Like I never knew this was possible.
Right.
I think when people say like, did you ever dream of doing this? I did not. It was not a possible dream to even think about. Like this was never even like we made it. Like we made this happen, which is so awesome, but it's not even something I ever thought that could ever happen. So it's very freaking cool.
But isn't that so crazy? Because like, since our type of music has been so late in the game and we're emotional over this and like seeing a whole space just full of our music and like we're crying, right? Whereas there are other people from the diaspora like who have kind of had it already, like Hindi music or like Punjabi music, and it maybe could be emotional for them as well, but like since they've had it for so long, they're kind of like used to it.
Yeah.
But for us, since it took a long time coming, and we didn't even think it was possible for it to like come to America now, we're just like so grateful for it.
It's crazy because like this is like it's actually like innovation. It's actually like birthing something that like has just never like Bangla house or just like Bengali music like integrated into like Western societies. Like like nobody would ever thought this before, bro.
But I think there's also like a level of not fear but like uncertainty with it, because I remember when we hosted our podcast event last year, we wanted to incorporate like Bangla language in the flyer, like we wanted to incorporate like music and things like that, but we knew that it wasn't as accessible and known to the people like outside of us. So we're like, should we do it because like will people understand or will they care? But we still did it at the end of the day, and we're like, no, we're like Bangladeshi American, like obviously we're gonna incorporate it. But since it's like it wasn't well known back then, or like as well known as it is now, or hyped up, we were just like scared of incorporating it, because we're like, we don't want it to be just like not received well, do you ever feel like that with Bangla music?
I think that's a thing that comes from like, we've always been like the minority culture within South Asian culture, right? So we're just kind of, Bangladeshis are always like tucked under the rug, under like the India rug basically. So I think we're sometimes afraid, or we were at least maybe, I grew up being afraid to be like loud about how Bangladeshi I am and like being Bangladeshi in general. Like I'm not Indian, like I'm Bangladeshi. Like I would just not correct people back then. I'd be like, yeah, I'm Indian.
Right.
Which is so silly to like look back on. So I feel like that is maybe like what has to do with like that fear a little bit. You're like, oh, maybe people won't understand, people won't get it. Who cares? Like, we it's who we are. Like we have every right to like be so proud of it and like share it. I think that's the other thing of it, is like for some reason, at least growing up, like I didn't feel the need to share it maybe, and like now I'm just like, no, I want to show the entire world like this is who we are, this is where we're from, these are the cool things that makes us different and unique, and like no, we're not just Indian, no, we're not, like there's so much more to like our culture, which like I think is
I also think a part of it is like, I think when we're younger we don't know how to share it to people. Like we don't want to like, we don't want to just take them to like an Indian restaurant. Like we can, but it's like, we want like a better way to go about it. And that's like something I want to bring up, is like, we look at people like Damir, just like anyone that's doing stuff like it's done tastefully.
So tastefully.
Like it's done in a way that's digestible. Like it's not difficult to understand that this is great, like what's happening. Like you can feel it. And I think that's also really important because there's a lot of like chai tea activists. There's a lot of people that will like take shortcuts, be like, nah, like I'm doing, like I'm brown, like I'm adding this into whatever. But it's like, no, like you can make this, you can do this like in a very like high quality manner. And I think that's why it's so infectious, is because it's like, you know, it's undeniable like that the stuff is good at the end of the day, and it can be played anywhere and everyone is gonna say it's good. And I think that's why it's like making such a big wave, because like you can't deny it, you know, like like can't deny it.
I love that. How did your parents react? Because in the funny viral video that you had, you were like in the living room, you were just like DJing for them, and then they had like no reaction when the camera panned out to them. So like now that it's been like almost a year now, I guess, like of you doing it professionally, how have they been?
It's actually really funny. People I think that they weren't supportive. Like they really are super supportive. Even in the video, I think my brother just caught them at a really like bad time. Well, they were kind of like that the whole time. The thing is, like, they don't understand it, which is fair,
right?
How would they?
Right.
But they are supportive. They know how happy it makes me, and I think that's why they've been so supportive of it.
That's great.
I think having a 9-to-5 helps.
Of course.
I think if I were to like not have that and then want to pursue it professionally, pursue like music and DJing professionally, that would maybe be a different conversation. At this point, I'm old enough where I can like whatever I end up doing is like they'll be fine with it. Also, what's funny is like now their friends all know that I DJ,
That's
so now
awesome.
they've got bragging rights. You know what I mean?
Now
they're like, yeah, my daughter's a DJ. So yeah, so that part kind of worked out for me, I guess.
That's great.
So yeah, they're super supportive. They don't fully understand it, but my mom keeps telling me like, take me to a rave, take me to a rave. So
wow.
one day I'll take
mom
her.
at a rave, like that'd be dope.
I took her to my first show actually a few months ago, and there's a video on that I posted too. But she took off like her shoes in the club. Like that was her first time in the club.
Wow.
First time in the club. She went my mom loves dancing, but like dancing barefoot specifically.
Right.
So it's just really funny. She took
in the club is crazy.
Club is crazy. Everyone was like, no. And she's like, I want to take it off, please. And so she took it off. It was so funny.
Love that.
I was like, Mom, you gotta shower, full body shower when you get home, please.
That's like touching like the subway, the New York City subway.
So gross.
Wow.
But yeah, no, they were really into it.
I love that. Isn't it so interesting how people see like a 6-minute clip of your parents or like whatever it is, and they just assume like, they're the worst, like they're so non-supportive. I was girl, you don't know the whole life story just from one clip, you know? Yeah. So it's good that you're like telling them on the record that like, they are supportive. Just because you saw a 2-second clip doesn't mean that they aren't, you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
I want to go back just briefly because I had a question I just wanted to ask.
Yeah.
About all the concerts that you went to. What are just some of like your like key takeaways from doing all that, like things that like maybe you learned about yourself, or just like learn like things that you realized after doing all that, like how it changed the outlook that like you have on life, and maybe like words of inspiration you would tell like someone that looks like you, who's younger, who's like kind of wants to do the same thing but is like too scared, or like whatever it is.
I love that question. You mean like DJing in general, or like
no, not DJing,
no, just like about yourself,
going to shows, and like taking that time to like push yourself, be outside your comfort zone, all that stuff. Yeah,
I think, oh my God, sometimes you just have to like not think and just do. And I'm just really glad that I like just took off and I did it, and I had this goal in mind, and I just like pushed myself. I didn't even push myself. It was just like something that I like, when you find something that you love, do it. And I think that's like the biggest like thing that came out of last year is like, I said I was going to go to 100 shows, and I just like did not even think about like stopping at all. It was like something that I just needed to do. I'm just like really proud of myself for doing it. And yeah, I think the biggest takeaway honestly from that was like, I just need myself, and it was just nice that I like didn't have anyone, I didn't need anyone to like help me do it. Like I was able to like rely on myself and like do this thing that I really wanted to do, and like I knew that it was going to make me happy. I don't care what anyone else thought about it. I don't care if anyone else was like, oh my God, ARINI, you're crazy. Like I just did it.
Like you didn't wait for anyone to go with you.
Yeah, I just did it.
I don't care if I don't have friends to go to this concert with. You're just like, I only live once.
I feel like I really like took my life into my own hands in that moment, and I'm just like really glad I did that, and it has completely changed my life now, like in what I do and what my life looks like now, which is cool. So
I think that's important, because like I think we don't realize that like we can alter like our outlook on life like in like a rather short amount of time if we just push ourselves in that amount of time, or push yourself in one sense, but like you said, it's like follow your true self and like the other lens. I think a lot of people like look at it, be like, oh, like you know, I'm already so deep in what I'm doing, and like to change who I am, it's gonna take this and this and that. It's gonna take so much work. But it's like, no, like if you really just like put your head down, or like, or whatever it is, like follow your heart for like at least a little bit. Like you have no idea like how much that can like affect you and like change like how you live like the rest of your 20s. And something I also want to bring up is like, I really like that. I think you mentioned that you know, you're 29 now, you wish you started when you were younger. I really like that like you kind of did this when you were like a little later in your 20s, because I think it's important for people in like their later 20s to see this. I think it's a lot easier to be this spontaneous when you're 20, but like a lot of 27, 28 year olds are like 6 years in their career, you know, about to buy a house, about to da-da-da, like they don't feel like they have the bandwidth to do something exciting anymore until they're like retired or like whatever it is. So I think it's important for like people in like their late 20s or going through like a midlife crisis or like whatever it is. It's important for them to know that like they have the space to do this kind of stuff.
You always have a choice to like choose to do something different, and I'm definitely like glad I did that. And like I think a lot of people think in their late 20s, early 30s or whatever, like your time is like past to like pivot to something else, but I'm like, I'm so glad I did this. Like and again, like I'm just glad that I did this now with like a fully formed brain and like a sense of self. Like if I did it earlier, I have no idea what that would look like. So
I think it's very inspirational, because now with social media, a lot of people are like comparing themselves to other people on social media. And you know, if you feel like you're not where you want to be in your career, you see a 18-year-old like killing it on TikTok and they're like millionaires, you're going to feel bad about yourself, you know? But the fact that you're able to just not even like change careers, because you still have your 9 to 5, but also just like realize that this could be a path for you just so much later in your 20s, because like you didn't even think that music was like in the cards for you, you know? So not only did you like get into something new without even having to like, without having that thought before, but like now you're killing it, like, you know, now this is when like you're becoming successful in this game. And I think it is very motivational to people that are listening, because you know, a lot of the times we just feel like we're running out of time, or we just feel like we're behind in life, you know. Even for me, sometimes like at 25, I'm like, dang, like I'm not where I want to be, you know. But then also it's a good reminder that there's still so much time left, and like there's no certain timing or mold that you have to like stick to feel like you made it, you know. Which is great.
It's been so great to like unlearn like this is where I need to be at this age, or this is where I need to be at that age. Like I thought 29 I was gonna have 3 kids by now, and married, right? But like especially when that like relationship fell apart in 2022, I feel like I just like unlearned that like what does getting older mean. Like I can just like pick up the pieces however I want to pick up the pieces. And so it's been really cool to like not let some weird timeline of like age hold me back from something.
It's all made up anyway. It's all like, you know, instilled by other people, like everybody on their own journey, everybody doing their own thing. That's all
you always have time.
And now here you are, Miss Worldwide.
Just getting started too.
Just getting started. Literally just getting started.
Literally,
And we got her on first too.
Crazy.
This is her first podcast. Like she's gonna blow up.
I'm probably gonna look back at this and be like, ARINI, your imposter syndrome is crazy.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like everyone has imposter syndrome. Everyone has like that fear of failure and things like that. But it's like, we're all faking it till we make it, and we're like, I love pushing through it,
faking it till I make it. And I think that's why I'm like, oh, I faked it too good. And now I'm here.
I gotta relax.
I gotta chill. Like, oh God. Like,
so that's the point. Like, be delusional until you're successful.
Yeah, you know? and now I'm like, I was a little too delulu maybe, and now I'm opening for Jai Wolf, and like, what is happening? Like, it's so fun. Yeah.
You really manifested it by like going to all these shows and like learning about these people. Now you're playing with them.
Like, yeah, it's really crazy how those pieces just like all fit so beautifully together.
That's awesome. But such a beautiful story.
Yeah, Thanks. You're like a great example of like, you know, like follow your heart, follow what you're doing, and then like, you know, it'll
in the most uncliche way.
Thanks, I love that.
Yeah, you're doing your thing. I know you made an Instagram post about this, but like briefly, what was your favorite show, and why, and favorite people, and just what makes someone good?
Yeah.
Experience.
So last year Skrillex put out an album last year, and he was like one of my favorite DJs, producers. I think he's awesome. His show is just so good, so high energy. It's like not like visual focused. It's like all about him and the music, and like that's what I love. So he was one of my favorite shows. Jyoti is another one.
Yeah, shout out to her. She's crazy.
Love her. I love her. If you haven't gone to a Jyoti show, you should go to a Jyoti show. She's doing a couple New York shows soon.
Oh yeah.
She just did one kind of recent, no?
Yeah. She did. Ago, I went to that. I literally flew from London to New York just for her show. Damn. Like I'm obsessed with her.
That's awesome.
I'm literally following her around like a little puppy.
No, I love every show. That's like your pure manifestation tactic.
Yeah, it kind of is. Just stalk people till they let me open for them. Thanks, Jai Wolf.
Remy out there.
But yeah, she is awesome, and she's South Asian DJ, and like she's been killing it. She's based in Europe, and it's been really cool to watch her. She also just like is very outspoken and like about human rights, and like uses her platform for things, and that I also really look up to her as a DJ for. But yeah, she was an awesome show. She just like, you can't help but dance at her shows. Like you can't help but move. She has
like that energy.
Yeah, and she's like having fun up there. And so like I remember when I first went to her show, first time I saw her play was I think last year October, and I was like, ooh, that's the kind of DJ I want to be. Like if I were to DJ, and at that point I wasn't doing clubs or anything, so I was like, if I were to DJ, that's the kind of DJ I want to be, where it's like you just want to make people dance.
Girl, you're getting there.
Yeah,
you're there. That was your manifestation. Now you're here.
Yeah. Wait, Jyoti,
where you at?
Hey. You heard it here first.
I also saw that you went to the Black Coffee show at the OVO store. I was there.
No way, you were there.
I was there. It was so hot.
Awesome.
I remember that was the AC not working or something. It was burning fucking hot.
But the sound bounced off the walls so good.
I loved it. It was so. I had like a 6-7 man in front of me, so I could not see Black Coffee at all. But like I could hear it.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, I didn't know you were in New York for that too.
I was in New York for a month, and I had just landed maybe 2 days before that, and then I get a text message: Black Coffee's doing a pop-up in some OVO store.
Yeah.
Ran.
Awesome.
I booked it. I ran. Yeah.
You ran.
I did. I ran.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. So after the little interview process, we do like a what is it? Like a rapid fire.
Yeah, a little rapid fire question.
Okay. Just like your first thought. Okay.
Yeah,
They're jokey.
We were too serious. We were too serious this episode. Now it's time to
we weren't that
loosen
serious.
the bubbles. I know.
Loosen the bubbles is crazy.
Yeah.
What kind of saying is that?
Sorry. Quick thinker. That's all.
All right. So the first question is, what is your favorite South Asian dish?
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Oh my god, stop thinking.
My mom's chicken roast.
That's so crazy because that's my favorite.
Yeah. It's always a mom's recipe.
It's always a mom's
not
though.
Like not other mom's recipe.
Do you know if your mom has like a secret little
twist
to it?
I don't know what it is, but she makes it different. We all say that, right? But
yeah.
But like hers is so good.
Everyone got different recipes.
Yeah.
Mine is like a good classic like Porta Mangso.
Yeah, she likes
yeah.
She go Porta for Porta.
Yeah,
she go 8, 9. How many?
Yeah, but then I get 8, 9. No, it's not 8, 9. Maybe like 4, 5. But like then I won't eat the whole day because it fills me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a classic Sunday breakfast.
Sunday, spend the rest
Sunday
of the day
brunch.
In bed. I get it. What's your hot take?
Like anything.
What's your hot take? Just your hot take. She has a terrible hot take.
Oh wait, what's yeah. Oh,
what is it?
The movie theater one.
You always bring that up for what?
It sucks. She doesn't think popcorn is the appropriate movie theater snack. She thinks chips are better.
That's
and I think
so
that's
wrong.
Fucking crazy. Because
some people agree with me who have been on the podcast.
No, not at all. I have a really funny story. Actually, whatever. What's your hot take?
Oh my god, what's my hot take? I'm sorry, I'm really
no, it's
put
fine.
On the spot
it can
right
be
now.
about anything.
Literally not the point in the game.
That's what we always do. That we always put our guests on the spot with this.
I think mangoes aren't good.
Oh,
they will be canceled actually.
Oh wow!
I like fruit. I'm anti-fruit.
Oh wow! That was not even. That was just canceled.
I was like, should we just move past that?
Wow. Okay.
We kind of talk about this.
Oh.
I vote just move past it.
So no fruity flavored anything.
I hate fruity flavored anything. Yeah, I'm sorry.
None.
I love vegetables. Love my veggies. No fruits.
We should move on now.
Okay. All right. Next. Okay. Maybe we should just scratch that. Just cut that out. That whole thing.
What's the most memorable memory? From a concert or from a live show.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. Actually, I have a fun story. I went to Lightning in a Bottle, which is a music festival in California, and first of all, such an incredible festival. People there just want to like connect with one another, like no hidden agenda, no nothing, like they just want to like talk to you and like actually get to know you from like human to human like kind of level, which is really cool and like very woo woo. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's very like it's a very beautiful energy that's at Lightning in a Bottle. But I hate when people chop it up at concerts. Like when I'm at a concert, like earplugs in, do not talk to me. Right. I'm here for the music.
Right.
But something about Lightning in a Bottle, it's like I really enjoy talking to people. And I was at a show, I was seeing Tycho, and I'm like vibing by myself. And there's this guy in front of me, and he's also vibing, and then he turns around and we just start chopping it up, talking about, I don't know where we're from. People get really excited at Lightning in a Bottle when they find out that it's your first time and that you've never been before. This guy's been there like 10 times probably. And then he got extra excited when he found out it was like my birthday the day before. So then he starts like rummaging through his bag. And you know how like in rave culture, there's like a thing of like exchanging gifts and stuff and like stuff. Give someone to something, give something to someone else. Yeah. And he's like looking through his bag as we're talking, and he's probably looking for like 5 minutes maybe. And at this point I'm like, hey, if you're looking to give me something, oh my God, please, you're so good. You don't have to do this. Like that, I really appreciate that. He's like, no, but I want to, but okay, let me look at you. And he like takes a look at me, and he's like playing with his hands, and he's like, okay, do a little 360. And he's like looking at my outfit. He's like, okay. And he like takes this ring off his finger, and then he's like, okay, I wear this ring on this finger, so you have to wear this ring on this finger, and it's so you. And I'm like, oh my God. And it's this ring. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what do you mean? Like, why are you giving this to me? He's like, my friend of 10 years made it for me. Look at all my rings. They're all silver. I'm a silver guy. I'm not a gold person. This ring was meant for you. You were meant to have this ring. And I'm wearing an all black fit, so like there's like a little black piece into it. He's like, you were meant to have this. Like that was it, and that was the experience. And like people at Lightning in a Bottle just love like connecting with one another and like having that little connection. And I never saw him again. Oh, that's cute. It's like so nice
and so wholesome. Like there's no hidden agenda.
No, that's the part that I like love. Yeah, people just like want to connect.
I love that.
And I wear this ring all the time.
That's so cute. There's like a story behind it.
You gotta pass it on one day.
Yeah. That'd be cute.
I like that.
You got another?
What's your ideal Friday night? Or Friday. A check just hit. You're good. You got, family good. Everybody good. What's the
I'm going to a show. I'm going to a show.
What's the genre?
What are we doing? Something electronic music, obviously, like a house show. Going to like a house show.
Good house show.
In San Francisco. My favorite venue. What's my favorite venue in San Francisco?
It's what she does every day.
My favorite venue.
Ask her a special question.
Is
this is her everyday routine.
To get like a special answer.
Oh, everyday routine.
No, I'm dead. Yeah, I just go to shows. That's actually like literally all I do.
I love that. I love that because you don't get tired of it yet.
No,
which is
I
a good
don't.
thing.
I love going to shows. Yeah, I'm there. I've been here 4 or 5 days. I've been to 4 shows already.
Wow, awesome.
Go another one tonight.
Good for you.
Yeah,
good for you.
My last one is what's your least favorite place you've ever been to?
Like in the world.
City, anywhere.
Portland.
Wow.
That's so funny.
I hate Portland. I hate Portland. Portland is like
Portland?
I just like Seattle more between the two, but then also like Portland's like, the whole thing is like we're quirky or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like what is it? The weirdest. Keep Portland weird, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
And
I feel like Portland is very like, look at me, I'm quirky and weird, and I'm like, San Francisco is weird. Like San Francisco is genuinely like a really weird city, which I love. That's why I love it. So when I went to Portland, I'm like, you're not weird. You guys just have colored hair. Like you're not weird.
Portland.
Sorry, Portland. I'm not a fan. I had a bad time.
Maybe that's also your hot take.
Yeah, maybe that's
maybe
my
the
hot take.
thing shouldn't be said anymore. That's so
cut
funny.
that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Cool.
Okay. So we also end our episodes with like a little 10-second advice. Which can be like about anything.
About anything.
And I know we put you on the spot with a hot take question,
but
so we'll put you on the spot again, but we'll go first. You have one?
Do you have one?
No.
No.
Okay.
My 10-second advice for this episode of Difficultish is all
right. Exactly.
Stop buying fruits for like $4.99, $3.99. Just wait till like 3 days before it expires. The supermarket will sell them for $1 right in front of the store. Just buy them for $1 and just make sure you eat them in 3 days. That's all. Stop buying fruit for $5.
Stop
that
buying
shit is not worth
fruits,
that $5.
period.
Yeah,
stop buying fruits.
I don't know what she's
period.
doing. But stop buying for $4.99. Just buy for $1 a couple days before it expires and just eat it. That's all.
Mine is, it is never too late to start something.
Oh, wow.
If you feel like you want to become an astronaut, or if you want to be the first boxer in your state, or your country.
Yeah.
Well, that's
do it.
Do it.
Try it.
Just
Go
do
for
it.
You don't have to succeed at it. At least try for it.
You won't.
You know?
You heard it here. Labby herself. Go ahead. What you got?
You got one?
Yeah, I have a good one. This is something that someone told me, and I really love it. If you stay committed to whatever it is you are aligned with, nothing will pass you by. And I think that's like so important. Like, just stay committed to whatever it is that you are energetically aligned to, and
fact,
you are like unstoppable.
Yep, that's a good one.
That's a good one. You heard it here first.
All right, do you have any like plugged in social media that you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, we gotta do this at the beginning or at the very end.
Follow me on Instagram.
Yeah,
follow me on TikTok.
Yeah, it's all
at ARINI. I'm playing in New York. I don't know when this is gonna come out, but August 2nd. Nope, sorry. It was a great show though.
Just played at New York.
Just played in New York. So
time.
good.
Do you have future shows after that you have?
You're opening for Memba. No?
I am. I'm so stoked about that. That's August 22nd in San Francisco. I love them. Have seen them so like 6-7 times. Obsessed with them. Yeah, find me on Instagram.
It's all linked down below.
Yeah.
Difficult-ish, ARINI. That's it. Follow us.
We are like so proud of you. We are so happy to have had you on the podcast. I know this was your first one ever, and the fact that you like flew to New York, not for this podcast obviously, but like to come here and you did this, like we're so honored. So thank you for coming on and like talking to us about this journey.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah, sharing your story.
Like the video, guys. Just share and review the podcast, rate the video, and we'll see you next time.
We love you guys.
Peace.
Allah Hafiz. Bye.
All right. I'm sweating bullets. Oh my god, thanks guys. That was so fun.